Any public comment? Any hands up? Seeing none, I need a motion to go into executive session.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Yes.
Second.
And we're going to invite Laura Brown into executive session with us. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We're in executive session.
Is that all?
All right, we're back. Sorry to everyone who's waiting. We're out of executive session. We're going on to item number 4. And Bob, why don't you give us, you have a appropriation request. We need a microphone.
So I'd like to ask the Board of Finance, I've been requesting appropriation, comes under our budget B 9.01 travel recognition, and I'd like to have an appropriation of $17,833.08 to justify, to satisfy Perkins Coie invoices 701-2331, 701-2332, 701-22333, professional services from August 2023 to March 2024.
I make a motion, we approve the Board of Selectmen request for $17,833.08 to satisfy Perkins Coal invoices 701-2331, 701-22332, 701-22333, professional services from 8/28/2023 to 3/2024.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Everyone had a chance to review. We have an ordinance in our town that the Board of Selectmen shall oppose annexation of any land in North Stonington by a tribe or government entity. And Perkins Co. is our attorneys that help us do that. There is a correspondence associated with this invoice, and the total for North Stonington is $22,893.08, and there was a budgeted amount of $5,000 that's already been paid. That's how we're leave with $17,833.08. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Is that? Yep.
We need, thank you. We need to make an amendment, a math correction here. The amount should be $17,893.08. The amount that needs to be approved is $17,893.08.
Do I have to amend my motion?
Yep.
I'd like to amend the motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen request for $17,893.08, and all the rest remains the same.
Second.
Thank you for catching that. And just for that, you can be seated for Sarah for this vote. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 6-0. All right, on to agenda item number 5, budget discussion. I thought Monday's hearing went better than could be expected. I thought, there was a lot of positive feedback. We have, the only real negative I heard was Brian, which, he's got good points and keeps us on our toes. And, I guess I can take a straw poll right now. Does anyone have any, intention of trying to have the Board of Education change their budget at all? Okay, nor do I. Does anyone have an appetite to have the Board of Selectmen change their budget at all? Nor do I. So we move to, forward this to the Board of Selectmen to call the town meeting? Town meeting, yeah.
The only question I do have is, are we sure that these numbers are correct?
Yes.
Okay,
There is one edit that's needed in this deck if any of these slides are going to be reused, but the math appears to be correct.
does it match this?
What were you looking at?
I don't know what slide this is.
Or, no, we won't use that. For the vote, it's just when it goes to town meeting, we'll have to modify that.
Right.
The previous page shows the first round of, and then the second page, that number just needs to reflect.
Yeah, you're right.
The correct.
You're right. That was just a,
So I don't know if this is gonna be shown or not.
it will be shown, but it's gonna be fixed. It has
Mhm.
the.
No, it's Mike's slides.
I move to, direct the Board of Selectmen to call the town meeting for May 6th with the current proposed budget, government operating 5,795,031, debt 1,382,949, education 15,438,918, and capital of 638,436 for a total of 23,255,334. I have a second?
Second,
Any further discussion?
The only thing I'd like to touch on briefly is, Nick made mention about a non-reduction of mill rate based on potentially what comes forward from the library. I would like to understand more about what the library is proposing. So I understand the library is doing some focused discussions. Before there's an ask from the library and we're asked to incorporate it somehow, I would like to see the details behind the ask.
mhm.
Well,
So,
this has nothing to do with what we're
Yeah.
doing right now.
Actually, it does. So Nick had suggested not reducing the mill rate and preparing ourselves to.
We're not
account for-
reducing, we're not talking about the mill rate
Okay,
at this time.
Yeah.
The mill rate discussion is gonna come after the budget's approved.
So at the budget review hearing,
yes.
whatever, the town meeting,
Yes.
Nick mentioned being prepared for that. And I feel it's appropriate to mention it now, that before this gets too far down the road, we fully understand what that is driven by and the details behind it.
Well, I would say that going into the town the town meeting, we have to have our strategy, our ducks in a row as to what we plan to do. Because I told them at the hearing, our plan is what we talked about, which is to take 165,000 from the undesignated fund and to plug the gap and to provide a mill rate reduction. If we want to just plug the gap and not provide the reduction per Nick's thing, we just have to say it when this town hearing comes.
But this is our only shot before they call the town meeting. And we have that meeting, correct?
So
We
can-
don't have a meeting between now
We
and
have a
then.
May 1st meeting.
So you're saying that we could take that number and change it after we have the meeting or not, before the mill rate is set? That would be the only.
We are, if we are going to change how we're going to
Fill the gap.
fill the gap in what we're gonna do with the mill rate.
Mhm.
If we came back, at the town meeting and said, we gotta tell them what exactly we're gonna do. What
Right,
our
do we
plan
need, do
is.
we need to have that in there right now? That's, I think, the question.
No,
We can do that. We can ask for them to send the budget
yes.
the way it is.
It's only expenditures. There's nothing with regard to revenue in this call. This call is send these expenditures, this budget expenditures to the Board of
Right.
Selectmen to call the meeting.
And if
That's
they
all we're
say,
doing.
okay, then we balance it with filling in where we want to
Correct.
fill in.
Correct.
And,
Okay.
and I want, by May 1st, we're gonna meet on May 1st. To Gary's point, I want you guys to all think about this between now and then. If we want to keep the mill rate where it is, because we want to be able to use undesignated money. And there's less of it if we lower the mill rate. Then we have to have that known by the 1st, because I'm not going into the hearing, the public meeting
Mhm. Okay.
with, without us having a unanimous or not whatever, a majority vote on what we're doing. So any further discussion on moving this to the Board of Selectmen with the expenditures as listed? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes 6-0. Do you have any minutes to review?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and I reviewed them.
Did anyone review them?
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry, let me just,
Did Antoinette get to look at them before we do them? Is that something that she has to check first, or we just go ahead and do them?
no, she doesn't check them.
Okay, all right. I
She
just know
does.
she's always the one that tells us we're missing some.
You send them to her first?
I've never sent them to her, but I'm just a
We can wait till
alternate.
first.
You send your draft ones to her first, or after they're approved?
Sometimes you post them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Make
I
a
think
mo-
I can think we can vote
Yeah.
on it.
Was it 17th?
Move we accept the minutes as Wyona has sent them to us.
What's the date?
April,
April 17th?
No, what's the past one?
April
April 17th, sorry.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Lou's stumbling over there.
Any abstentions? Okay. Who did the votes there? Gary, you voted, and who second?
Ed.
Carl Gary. Public comments? Anyone online?
I raise my hand now.
Yes.
So, just quick, Gary, on the, so what's left to go with the library? The Board of Selectmen have not approved that. Oh. Because I just did it's public comment,
Public comment.
it's public comment. The Board of Selectmen have not approved it to go to the Board of Finance yet. They presented to us, but we have not voted to send it to you guys yet. Because we pushed everything back to the fall, if you remember it. So we concentrated on the budget. If we approve it, 3021, whatever goes to you, then you're gonna get a presentation, then you're gonna decide what you wanna do with it. You may send it back to us to say, okay, go to public, hearings on it, which I would assume we would do, eventually ending up in a town meeting and a referendum. But there's a process for the library to go through before we get to any vote on it.
And that's great. What I'm concerned about is I don't think we're all on the same wavelength as far as what I don't know about the rest of the Board of Finance, would like to see associated with a $2 million ask. I would like to see engineered or design documents and construction estimates against a design. If we're doing this off renderings or a vision, there is no way myself as a Board of Finance member would push that forward. So what I would like is the opportunity to articulate to the library what we expect to see to move this forward. And I think the Board of Selectmen should have the same kind of conversation. If this ask is coming, this is what we would like to see. We would like to have some comfort level that the $2 million ask is going to give us a deliverable that we can continue to utilize the library. We don't want to approve $2 million and find out that we're halfway through, we don't have enough money and we don't have a way to get there. So there's more to it than what's been shared.
And if
thus
the
far.
library comes in front of the Board of Finance, you'll have every right to ask any question you want.
What's that?
You'll have
Yeah,
it-
but my concern about that is time is ticking away. And we know that they have to do this ask by November. They have to be approved or they're gonna lose their grant. And if we wait till September or October to have this discussion, suddenly we're gonna look like the bad people. And I don't
So
wanna
we
be
don't, the
bad
Board of Selectmen aren't intending to do that. We just want to get through the budget season, then take a deep breath, relax for a week or two, and then dig into the library. That's the next thing on the agenda.
I would just like to
And
make sure
capital.
we are forward messaging this. Way, I don't want anyone to be surprised at what we expect to see for a $2 million ask.
I would imagine that the Board of Selectmen will be addressing this in our meetings in June.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll echo what Gary is saying. I want to see that, and I would want to see how this is going to be financed, either bond, real numbers. I don't want to, well, the estimate going to, I want somebody to go to the bond council and saying, hey, a 10-year note, a 20-year note is going to be based on what we got for reserves. It's going to cost this much. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of flux. But I want to be able to see actual I'm with you, Gary. I want to see actual numbers. I want to see actual, this is the project.
It's just things that you want to see that aren't asked by the Board of Selectmen. When they come to their presentation, you don't have to approve it that evening to move forward. You can then ask these questions, have them come back a second time with the answers.
Hence, we got to get it started soon
Yeah,
after budget.
we're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
running, I'm recognizing the shot clock is running. And we're
Mhm.
standing outside the circle.
Because there's a very real possibility of we're sitting here September, October, and it's just a presentation of this is what it's going to be, where we don't have really solid numbers. It will be probably us saying, kick it back to the Board of Selectmen and saying, well, guess what? We need all this information. You got less than 90 days to come up with it.
Well, if we're sitting here in September, then shame on us if we haven't had those questions answered.
With this concern, would it be a good thing to tell them now that the Board of Finance would like to meet with them
Well,
sooner
it
than
may
later?
not get to you. If the Board of Selectmen vote not to send it forward, it will never get to you. The project's dead.
So this would be
That's
us, as I would say, at least two members, kind of conveying it to a member of the Board of Selectmen. That would be my expectation. Well, that's, 1/3 of the board here, so I can't speak for everybody, but Gary, I think that's where you're kind of going, is this is the parting shot, saying, hey, this is my expectation and this is my expectation.
Yeah, it takes a significant amount of time to come up with engineered drawings and bona fide construction estimates vetted by a construction manager. And that's not something that's gonna happen in 30 days.
And
It also begs the question, do they have the money to do that? Because that, to me, that's a $250,000 ask right there.
I-
But I mean, I don't think I'm that far off on that one. So the question is, an early on question would be, are you prepared to spend that much money to get to the detail we need? Or not? And if they don't have the funds to do that, then this isn't gonna that won't get off the ground, period. So that's, because that's it's gonna be a big number.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
And,
But
and,
they might not have it to begin with to do it.
but then, all right, if they don't have that number right there, therein lies a large, super large problem.
But it resolves it actually resolves the issue. Because if they can't develop that, then they're not prepared to do this, period.
You know, because
I can't see them not having that information.
And it's the question I continue to ask. Maybe they have it, just show us. And there's gotta be a mechanism, Bob, where even though the Board of Selectmen hasn't chosen to send it to the Board of Finance, you know, there should be some sort of community open forum or a pile of stuff on the desk where we can go and review what's driving it. There are other ways to communicate exactly what they have to support the ask.
So as private citizens and taxpayers, you can go up there. She said when she was at the last meeting, she'd be glad to do presentations up there for taxpayers. Whether the Board of Finance goes as non-Board of Finance members is up to you.
Right, and I anticipated that was gonna occur, but I haven't seen any of that. And I'm just waving a flag. I am a supporter of the library, but I'm watching time tick away. And November is gonna come up on us quick. Everybody's gonna disappear for the summer and try to enjoy them. So it's just the nature of the beast.
Tell you what, I'll talk to the Board of Selectmen. Our next meeting's May 7th. And I'll talk to them about reaching out to the library to let them know some of these things that have come up already and how prepared are they to answer the questions. Okay.
Perfect.
And then I'll take a deep breath.
You want this issue on the May 1st agenda again?
Sure.
We're gonna talk about revenue and we're gonna talk about library.
Okay, you won't need the Board of Selectmen to be here for
No.
the short meeting.
No.
Correct, thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Or motion to adjourn. I'll take either one.
My motion, your second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?